arc in Greek is alpha, rho, chi. Notice that the Greek R is like the Roman P. So instead of the letters rho and chi, you get the letters P and X. Pax, or peace in Latin, the bird of peace. Pax Christi. But let's take the logo of Pax Christi and read it in Greek. So you get alpha, rho, chi, omega, and that gives you Archo. The chi, rho. The Christ. The alpha and the omega. So when you start looking for pictures of archons, lots of them are religiously based. Well, people will say, yes, but the archons are from another dimension. In other words, we are defenseless. Well, I refuse to believe that. Remember, there was a time when we were living in paradise. That means without the parasite. So there must be something here in our crater that created all this havoc. And of course, it always brings me back to this Ben stone, which in my view is still here. One day I was lying in my bed in a state between awake and asleep, and a solution was presented in my subconscious. Let's take the epep snake. The head is the alpha and the tail is the omega. Now short circuit the epep snake. Take the Ben stone and you have the alpha and the omega. Now you short circuit the epep in the Ben stone. That creates an inversion, which is the chi. This short circuiting creates a loop, like feedback with a mic and an amplifier.
Give some perspective. I've got this. Whoop. So it just picked up two more.
So now you have the alpha, chi, omega. That is the acho, or the echo, or the ego. Now this echo is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and it is creating a wormhole. It creates the Rho, or the Ra, the eye of Ra. Or the eye of Sauron. The word Sauron brings us to the dinosaurs, or back to the archons. But what do they mean with I see you? What if someone comes near to this activated Ben stone? This Ben stone sends a signal to the head of the victim. It resonates in its head with the pineal gland. Now you hear the voice of God in your head. The eye of Ra is actually the receiver of the signal of God. Here again the chi and the rho, the pineal gland. Our pineal glands are resonating with the black stone emissions. Third eye awakenings, or decalcifying your pineal gland.
Sit in a cross-legged posture. Place your palms facing upward upon your thighs. Listen to the instructions carefully before you start the practice. Open your mouth wide enough and utter the sound
Let's take the Archontic device and let's compare it with the symbol of Om. The Alpha, the Omega, the vibrational loop, and the opening of the Eye of God. Let's take another one. Take the Archontic device. So you have the He. The He you can divide in two lambdas. Lambda is the Greek word for L. That gives you alpha, lambda, lambda, omega. So all these words are representations of an electrical system. This system creates the Eye of God, the Watcher.
And I could kind of hear the sound in my head of the lightsabers, even though it was just a painting of a lightsaber. I could really just sort of hear the sound. I think maybe somewhere in my subconscious I had seen a lightsaber before.
Religion is spreading the word of God. A temple, a church, a mosque in every village. The obelisk and the dome, one of their favorites. Or the Ark. The Word of God resonating in your brain, creating the Eye of Ra. So we hear the voice of God. But the question, of course, is, who is God? Are we speaking about a device? And can it be used by someone? We know that Moses received messages from God, but why? And with what purpose? Let's take a look at the fragment of The Wizard of Oz.
Please, sir, we've done what you told us. We brought you the broomstick of the Wicked Witch of the West. We melted her.
Oh, you liquidated her, eh? Very resourceful.
Yes, sir. So we'd like you to keep your promise to us, if you please, sir.
Not so fast. Not so fast. I'll have to give the matter a little thought. Go away and come back tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, but I want to go home now.
You've had plenty of time already.
Yeah. Do not arouse the wrath of the great and powerful Oz. I said come back tomorrow.
If you were really great and powerful, you'd keep your promises.
Do you presume to criticize the great Oz? You ungrateful creatures think yourselves lucky that I'm giving you audience tomorrow instead of 20 years from now.
Oh,
The great Oz has spoken.
oh,
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
So the Wizard of Oz is using a technology. Let's take a look at it. At the bottom you see the Ark of the Covenant, and on top of it you see that the image of the wizard is presenting itself like an Archon, a reptilian. Now let's imagine that this Christ technology, the He-Ro, the XP, the experience technology, falls in the wrong hands. Opening gates, sending messages. Have you ever experienced this voice of God technology?
Together, my lord Sauron, we shall rule this Middle-earth. The old world will burn in the fires of industry. The forests will fall. A new order will rise. We will drive the machine of war with the sword and the spear and the iron fist of the orc. We have only to remove those who oppose us.
Minas Tirith, or Minos Taurus, the tree of Minos, the tree of life. On the Hereford map you have Jerusalem and the labyrinth, the Taurus of Minos. Take a look at the courtyard of Minas Tirith. There you see the cross of Jerusalem and the old tree. When you see this image, it is actually the ground plan of our consciousness. Take the top view of our brain and put in the counter-rotating pyramidal system. That gives you a center point. Now put in our organic system, and then you see that the center point is situated at a different location. let's examine this on a side view. In the eye of Ra, you have 3 points. The green one is the thalamus, the pink one the posterior commissure, and the purple one is the pineal gland. The 2 most important ones in my view are the thalamus and the pineal gland. The Tower of Sauron and Mount Doom. I think that the arc between those 2 is creating the ego, the echo, the voice of God. But let's have another look at the eye of God. When you go to the left side, you see another piece of the brain, but it looks like the tree of life. And it is called the tree of life, Arbor Vitae. And now suddenly I start finding pictures of Jesus hanging in the tree of life. But this piece of the brain is also called the reptilian brain. Here we go again. Are we being tricked again?